What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another vlog. Sorry, I've been away for a few days, but for those of you who don't know me and here for the first time, I am a junior doctor and an immigrant medical or an international medical doctor working in Australia. I've been in Australia for the last 10 years, and I share my journey along the way. So today's video has taken me some time, reason being that I have been doing a lot of research for you guys, particularly those medical professionals or health professionals who want to come to Australia and want to study here and get immigration or PR, which is called permanent residency over here. And I've been trying to look up different degrees, and things have changed along the way. So one of the more recent things that I have done is done some research on the new immigration changes. And what I will do is today advise you on which degrees have the potential of leading to a permanent residency or PR in Australia. Now, one of the most important things I want to underscore over here is that I am not an immigration consultant, and whatever advice I'm giving you is based on the research I've done and my personal views. So if you are looking for professional immigration advice, then you can go and consult with an immigration agent. But whatever advice I'm giving you is from the Australian government's immigration website, and it is true for as of today. And if things change, then obviously you can look at the website. So without cutting corners, the topic of today's video is going to be which degrees are the best degrees for health professionals and doctors to study and settle in Australia and will lead to permanent residency. So sometime back, I did a video on the best degree to do in Australia for immigration and settling and in terms of jobs. You can have a link of it in the description above there, and I will also link it down in the video. However, that degree, a lot of doctors were quite reluctant in doing that degree, and that's for cultural reasons and sensitivities. So the degree I advised was doing a master's of nursing or a diploma in nursing. And the reason why I advised that degree is that nursing is in Australia's skilled occupation list. Number two, the Australian setup is such that there is a big demand for nurses, and nurses are very well paid. The problem lies is in the fact that some of the countries where we come from, for example, I can tell you, I come from Pakistan, and nurses are not really appreciated. Their work is not really looked upon as at par in terms of medical professions. So a lot of doctors feel that doing nursing is a step down from what they want to do. However, in Australia, it's a very flat hierarchy, and nursing is, I still say, is the best degree to do. However, if you want to look for other alternatives, then I am going to talk about today about different alternatives to nursing and the degrees that you can do in Australia that'll lead to PR. So before I go over there, the most important thing I want to talk about today is to give you an understanding of how the immigration works. So when you are deciding your degree, you can do some independent research and have an understanding rather than blindly going into the degree. So in Australia, if you want to get permanent residency through immigration, there are four main ways, and today I'm going to touch base on them. So number one, the most powerful visa you can get in Australia is a direct permanent residency, which is also called the 189 visa, or it is also called skill independent visa. 189 visa is a permanent resident visa. You can work anywhere in Australia. You can do whatever you like. You'll get all the benefits from the government. That's the visa you want to get on. So you want to select a degree that leads to that visa. The second option is, and this is in terms of chronological order, the first best and the second best and the third best. So the second best option for you is to get a 190 visa, which is also called the state sponsored visa, which basically means that you have to, it's like a permanent residency, but you have to stay in that particular state. And the quota for this visa is quite small, so not a lot of people get this visa. And every state has their own criteria. Some of them require you to study over there or have lived in that state for X amount of time. Therefore, this is another option. However, you want to this is a slightly lower option than the 189 visa. The third option is the regional skilled visa, which is also called the 491 visa. And that's another visa option that you can look at. However, this visa has a lot of restrictions. And the most important of them is that you have to live in regional slash rural Australia, which means that you cannot live in a bigger city. And they changed the cutoff dates for it, but it has to be at least these in the current times it's about 3 years you have to stay in that regional area and work over there and live over there. So those are the three main options. The fourth option is the 186 visa, which is also called one visa that require, or a work visa. So some of you can get a short-term visa or a long-term visa, but the best one is the 186 visa. However, that visa is difficult to get because it requires an employer to sponsor you whilst you're overseas. So probably not the ideal visa to get if you don't have a lot of work experience or you haven't properly worked in Australia previously. So let's today focus on the 189 visa and the degrees that will lead you to the 189 visa. So I am going to put a link in the description about all the degrees, but let's start off with the first degree that I'm going to talk about. And these are all the degrees that are taken up from the skilled sponsor list. So the list that you need to follow is called the MLTSSL, which is also called the medium and long-term skilled occupation list. So I'll put a link down in the description. Make sure you go through that list and only choose courses which are in that list. Now, the important thing about that list is also the fact that you may choose a course which is in that list, but some of these degrees require a post-study experience. So at least 1 year of post-study experience. Others don't require it. So you ideally want to choose a course that does not require post-study experience, which means that as soon as you finish the course, you can straight away get your permanent residency. So I leave that digging down and research to you guys, because what you need to do is also contact the individual assessing authorities, and the names of those assessing authorities would be also present on that MTSSL list. So the first degree I'm going to talk about is audiologist, and the code for that degree is 252711. So that's the ANZASCO code. I will put the link down in the description for you. And you can see over here that this degree leads to the 189 visa. So audiologist is a degree that basically measures or looks at hearing deficiencies and hearing aids and deals with that. So that's something you may want to have a look at if you are interested in getting the permanent residency. Let's go to the second one. And the second one is occupational therapy. Now, a lot of countries such as India, Pakistan, and Southeast Asia don't have this degree. So that it was also a new degree for me when I first stumbled upon some of the occupational therapists. Occupational therapists are people who deal in rehabilitation and assessing or giving away prostheses, changing the design of the house, and those sort of things. So masters in occupational therapy is quite a good degree that you can do, and there are fair few jobs out there that you can get. The third degree I'm going to talk about is osteopath. I honestly don't know much about this degree. My understanding is that they deal with bony pain and bones, but I don't know how, what are the job scopes. I haven't seen a lot of jobs for this degree myself, and I'm not quite sure on what are the requirements in terms of post-study experience, but I'm pretty sure that you will have to do 1 year of post-study experience to get this one. But again, it's in the 189 list, so that's something you can consider and do more research on. The fourth one, and this is my favorite one, and I think if you do this one, there are plenty of jobs out there, and you actually don't require 1 year post-study work experience for this one. However, it's got a bit of a quirk. You will not get this occupation assessed or be able to work in Australia if you have a master's in it. So you basically need to do a bachelor degree in this one, and this is called physiotherapy. So if you do a bachelor of physiotherapy, then you will not need a post-study qualification experience, and you should be able to get PR straight away, and there are plenty of jobs in this occupation. So physiotherapy is an interesting one. If you have finished your medical degree and you still want to do physiotherapy, you can still again do a bachelor. You will have no issues in terms of your visa and stuff, because in Australia, a lot of people do finish their bachelor's and do another bachelor's. It's very common over here, so you don't really necessarily need to come for a master's. But what that will add is that you will have to do a 3-year bachelor, which will add an extra year to your study and some costs. All right. Another one, which is an interesting one, is podiatry. Podiatry are people who deal with feet and prosthetics in the feet. And this degree also, again, is in this skilled occupation list. And the assessing authority for this one is Pod BA. So you will have the link in the MLTSSL list. So make sure you have a look into it and see if you need any post-qualification experience. Again, plenty of jobs out there for podiatry. All right, so the final one I'm going to talk about is social work. Now, this degree is quite a bit in demand these days, plenty of work going around. And I know of quite a few people who have actually got their permanent residency through social work. So that's an interesting degree to look at. I'm actually not sure whether they have recently changed their post-study work requirements. Previously, there was no requirement, so you'd finish the degree and you're eligible. But you can always check with the assessing authority, which is AASW. So those are all the degrees I wanted to talk about. There is one other bonus degree that or occupation that you can come into, which is called sonography. So there are a very limited number of courses in Australia in sonography. Again, you can look into this one, but I'll put down the link. And the assessing authority is ASMIRT for this one. There are a couple of other bonus degrees which I think I should touch upon and are in the skilled occupation list. So let's go through them as well. And this one is an interesting one which I think a lot of people are not aware of, but I highly recommend it because there are plenty of jobs out there and very well paid jobs. It's called speech pathology. So speech pathology both has hospital jobs but also private practice jobs. And again, this is an interesting degree, and if you can get into this one, I will highly recommend it. That'll be a good degree to get into. All right, so that was my list for today in terms of telling you about different degrees which can lead to permanent residency. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a link. If you need any mentoring from me, you can subscribe to my mentoring program, and I can take you through the journey on how you can approach the Australian system and what will be the best way to get into the system. If you have any questions and you want me to make more videos, please make sure you like and subscribe to my channel and put down your comments in the description. It really helps. I get a lot of encouraging emails from you, which helps me make more content for you guys. So thank you very much for all your support, and catch you next time. Bye.